At a Major League Baseball game, you anticipate the crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, the thrill of a close play. You don't expect life-threatening danger to leap from the field into the stands. But on August 8, 1982, at Boston's historic Fenway Park, that's precisely what happened. The air was thick with the typical summer humidity, and the cheers of Red Sox fans echoed through the stadium. Tom Keane, a loving father from Greenland, New Hampshire, had brought his two young sons for a special treat, a chance to witness the legendary Green Monster up close. Among them was 4-year-old Jonathan, his eyes wide with the wonder of his first big league game. Little did any of them know that this day would be etched in their memories, not for a home run, but for an act of extraordinary heroism by Red Sox star Jim Rice. A man admired not just for his powerful swing, but for his quiet, unassuming nature, a characteristic that would soon be brought into sharp, brilliant focus. The Keanes weren't a wealthy family. Tom worked tirelessly at a local factory, and his wife, Mary, managed the household with equal dedication. This trip to Fenway was a significant expense, a carefully planned splurge to create a lasting memory for their boys. Jonathan, in particular, was captivated by the stories of the Green Monster, the towering left-field wall that had become a symbol of Fenway Park and a nemesis to many a visiting batter. He'd spent the car ride peppering his father with questions. How tall is it, Dad? Can anyone hit a ball over it? Will we see it? Their seats were incredible, second row behind the first base dugout, almost too close to the action. Tom remembered feeling a slight twinge of unease, a fleeting thought about the potential danger of a foul ball, but the excitement of the day quickly pushed it aside. The boys were mesmerized, their faces lit up by the bright lights and the energy of the crowd. Jim Rice, meanwhile, was in the midst of a solid, if not spectacular, season. He was known for his intense focus and powerful hitting, but also for his quiet demeanor off the field. He wasn't one for flashy displays or self-promotion. Before the game, he'd signed a few autographs, sharing a warm smile with a group of young fans, a small gesture that spoke volumes about his character. He exchanged a few words with his teammates in the dugout, a sense of camaraderie and shared purpose filling the air. He was ready to play. He was ready to win. He had absolutely no idea that he was about to do something far more important than hit a baseball. The game moved quickly. It was the bottom of the fourth inning, and Red Sox batter Dave Stapleton was at the plate, facing off against a tough Chicago White Sox pitcher. The count was full, tension building with each pitch. Stapleton connected, sending a screaming line drive foul directly into the stands. It happened in a blur. One moment, the ball was a white speck against the blue sky. The next, it was a projectile hurtling towards the unsuspecting crowd. Screams erupted. Tom Keane, his eyes following the trajectory of the ball, felt a wave of icy terror wash over him. He saw it all in slow motion. The ball striking Jonathan, the sickening thud, his son's small body crumpling. The world seemed to stop. The cheering faded into a dull roar, replaced by a sharp, ringing silence in his ears. He saw his son's face, contorted in pain, a small hand reaching up to his injured eye. The image was burned into his memory. In the Red Sox dugout, Jim Rice saw it all. He didn't hesitate. Instinct took over. He didn't think, he reacted. His eyes locked onto the small, injured figure, and he was moving before his brain could even fully process what had happened. He vaulted over the dugout railing, a blur of red and white. His focus narrowed to a single point, the injured boy. Rice moved with a speed and agility that defied his large frame. He reached Jonathan in seconds, scooping him up gently but firmly. The boy was whimpering, his face pale and streaked with blood. Rice cradled him close, murmuring soft, reassuring words, although he wasn't sure if Jonathan could even hear him. "It's okay, buddy. It's okay. I've got you." He turned and headed back towards the dugout, his mind racing. He knew that waiting for paramedics to navigate the crowded stands would waste precious time. The Red Sox clubhouse, with its readily available medical staff, was the closest and fastest option. The crowd, initially stunned into silence, erupted in a mixture of gasps and applause. They recognized Rice, of course, but this wasn't the athlete they were used to seeing. This was a man driven by pure, unadulterated compassion. Other players, seeing the commotion, rushed to assist. One offered a towel to help stem the bleeding. Another cleared a path through the crowd. Tom Keane, momentarily paralyzed by shock, snapped back to reality and followed Rice, his heart pounding in his chest. He felt a desperate mix of fear and gratitude, his mind struggling to comprehend the surreal events unfolding before him. Inside the clubhouse, the Red Sox medical team sprang into action. They laid Jonathan down on a training table, gently examining his injuries. Rice stood nearby, his face etched with concern, watching their every move. He felt a profound sense of responsibility, a deep-seated need to ensure the boy's well-being. The ambulance arrived quickly, its siren a piercing wail that cut through the muffled sounds of the stadium. Tom rode with Jonathan, his hand clasped tightly around his son's small, trembling one. He tried to be strong, to offer comfort, but his own fear was almost overwhelming. The ride to Boston Children's Hospital felt like an eternity. The emergency room was a whirlwind of activity. Doctors and nurses moved with practiced efficiency, their faces calm but focused. Jonathan was quickly assessed, his injuries determined to be serious but, thankfully, not immediately life-threatening. He had suffered significant facial trauma, including a fractured orbital bone. Surgery would be required. Tom, overwhelmed and exhausted, sat in the waiting room, trying to process the information he'd been given. The doctor, a kind woman with a reassuring demeanor, explained the situation in detail, answering his questions patiently and offering words of hope. Jim Rice arrived at the hospital shortly after, having changed out of his uniform and driven himself. He found Tom in the waiting room, his face pale and drawn with worry. Rice approached him quietly, offering a simple, heartfelt apology. "I'm so sorry," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "I wish there was something I could have done to prevent it." Tom, his eyes filled with tears, shook his head. "You saved his life," he said, his voice choked with gratitude. "You acted so fast," the doctor said. It made all the difference. They talked for a while, Rice listening intently as Tom recounted the events of the day, the fear, the uncertainty. Rice learned about the family's modest circumstances, their struggles. Without fanfare, without seeking any recognition, he made a decision. He quietly arranged to cover all of Jonathan's medical expenses. It was a gesture of profound generosity, done not for publicity, but out of genuine human kindness. Jonathan underwent surgery and began the long process of recovery. It wasn't easy, but he was a fighter. He faced his challenges with the same spirit and enthusiasm he'd shown on that fateful day at Fenway Park. The Keanes never forgot Jim Rice's kindness. They remained eternally grateful for his quick thinking and his generous heart. The story of Jim Rice's heroism spread quickly, amplified by the media and the passionate Red Sox fan base. He became a symbol of something more than just baseball. He represented the best of humanity, compassion, courage, and selflessness. Newspaper articles praised his actions, and fans showered him with admiration, not just for his athletic prowess, but for his character. Quotes like, "Jim Rice, a Hall of Famer on and off the field," became common. Interviewers asked about that day, and he always downplayed his role, emphasizing the bravery of young Jonathan and the skill of the medical team. The incident served as a powerful reminder that even in the midst of a game, amidst the cheers and the excitement, life can change in an instant. It highlighted the importance of quick action and the profound impact that one person's kindness can have on another's life. And it cemented Jim Rice's legacy, not just as a baseball legend, but as a true hero. The story of Jim Rice and Jonathan Keane is more than just a sports anecdote. It's a testament to the power of human compassion. It's a reminder that heroes can be found in the most unexpected places, and that acts of kindness, no matter how small, can have a ripple effect that extends far beyond the immediate moment. Jim Rice's swift action that day at Fenway Park saved a young boy's life and demonstrated that true greatness lies not just in athletic achievement, but in the unwavering commitment to helping others, a lesson that resonates far beyond the confines of a baseball diamond. It shows us all that even one moment of courage and compassion can make a lifetime of difference.